tuned in with Uncut Live with Kenneth Clark.
Greetings there, ladies and gentlemen. What you are about to hear is a brief testimony of some of the things that have transpired in my life that I feel that can be of greater importance as it relates to dealing with this issue with gun violence within the black community, and things that we must look at as a means of perspectives to actually address. I am not saying that I am an expert on this or I have the expertise, but this is something that I want you to think about and to consider as I begin to tell my story. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am someone that has experienced much trauma in my life. I'm an individual of someone that probably, as you begin to hear my story, you might have to pause and you might have to debrief yourself for a moment. My name is Kenneth Clark, and I am a person that has recovered from childhood abuse. On platforms or just being around associates and individuals, I didn't always feel open and comfortable telling people about my story. You see, I come from a background of a birth mother who had some very challenging health issues. She had some challenging issues mentally. She had some mental dispositions. She had some very complicated health conditions. I am the brother, the middle brother. I have two sisters, and I have two sisters and one brother. So it's two girls and two boys. Each of us got split up and broken into different parts of the family. I'm going to just invite you and tell you into my world for a moment. As growing up, the type of trauma that I experienced were things like being beat in the head with a plate. I used to be beat with the and stitching cord of a hedge trimmer. I was beat in the head just by mere fist, being shoved into a glass china set. There were times where I was kicked. There were times where I was left with nothing to eat for 7 days straight. Now, many of you may say, how did that happen? We'll get to that later on. What I'm trying to do is invite you into a world to kind of open you up, to get you thinking about what trauma rehabilitation looks like. You see, we have gun violence because of the fact that if black men are not trained on how to use their emotions or to express their emotions constructively, unfortunately, a lot of black men, they're either told to suck up things, they're told to suck up things, they're told to suck up their emotions, to suck up their tears, to suck up their pain, to suck up the things that they have gone through. Oftentimes, what we don't realize is someone like myself, I was literally forced to go to mental behavioral classes so that I could learn how to deal with my emotions effectively. I was not who you see today. I was a complete emotional wreck. I was not one that was ongoing. Any person that came into my sight, I thought that they had an agenda. I thought they was out to get me. I didn't trust them simply because of how I was treated. When I was abused, I had no one to come rescue me. When I was abused, I was verbally abused. I was told things like, you're stupid, you're retarded, you will never be nothing when you grow up, you are a piece of junk. These were the kind of things that was getting embedded into me mentally. We don't often think about mental abuse when we talk about abuse. We only talk about the physical abuse. You see, when a person does not get the necessary mental behavioral support services, you are going to see outbreaks, outbursts of behavior that will be detrimental to oneself and to those within an environment. Most people say, well, I believe the only way to end gun violence is by putting more police on the corners, into the neighborhoods. That's not going to work. I believe we should have stricter laws. That's not going to work. If we don't push the behavioral mental support services as a means to deal with emotions and anger management, we are going to continue to see the uptake and the uprise as it relates to mental health. This is a very touchy topic. This is a very topic of discussion that some of us within the Black community have got to start looking and analyzing. Hold up. Is there some truth to this? Because some things within the Black community, when we talk about mental health, we often use the notion, oh, that's the white man's turn. And in reality, mental health is not based upon a color. Mental health is based upon a human thing. There is a true term. Hurt people hurt other people. That is, if they don't receive constructive and healthy formulas in how to deal with one's emotions and behavior. As I said before, I am not here to say that I am an expert, but I am here to express to you what could possibly be some particulars so we can start looking at what could possibly help mend and resolve this gun violence. If emotions are not handled, if Black men are not taught how to handle their emotions, guess what? From the time of being a teenager into transition into manhood, if it is not dealt with, you will experience and see behaviors. If one's emotions are not handled, if one is not taught how to express their emotions in a healthy way, if they're constantly taught to suck it in, dry it up, you will begin to see a matriculation of behavior that is not healthy. Many probably will debunk everything that I just said, but I'm not here to entertain the debunkness. I'm here to tell you some of the things that I did that helped me be the man that I am today. I went to mental health support services, mental behavioral supportive services, for lack of better term. And I have been taught and learned how to handle my emotions effectively in a way that is healthy, in a way that will not cause harm to myself nor cause harm to anyone else. I want us to think about, are we investing enough time and effort to start beginning the conversation about how to handle emotions? See, we think gun violence is just gun violence for the sake of it being gun violence. But in actuality, gun violence is actually the result of one not been able to be taught on how to deal with their emotions, on how to keep their emotions checked. We can't check emotions simply by implementing more police in the neighborhood. We can't simply just say we need stricter laws. We must deal with the mental health piece as it relates to the behavior from when one has a gun. One needs to be able to know how to utilize a gun, but if a person's mental capacity is not competent for them to have a gun, then we need to make sure that one is not given access to obtain one. I'm Kenneth Clark. This is my testimony, and this is an edition of Uncut Live with Kenneth Clark. Peace and blessings. I pray and hope that you take something from this broadcast. God bless you.